Everyone, Satam here from Alchemist Academy. I hope all of you are doing well, and a lot of you are giving NAATI exams or are preparing for your NAATI by yourself. So here are a few tips that I'd like to share that can help you to pass this test very easily. So let's begin with the tips. Tip number 1. Focus on the meaning of the sentences rather than word-to-word vocabulary. A lot of students usually have hesitations when they're converting the dialogues because they're thinking about the exact vocabulary of the word. When you try to put words or when you try to deliver meaning by word vocabulary, it usually represents a lot of hesitations and it represents a lot of grammatical mistakes. Let's look at a very small example. If I was to use the sentence, how are you today, right? If I have to go word by word, it would be, let's say if it was in Hindi, which is one of my native languages, I would have said, कैसे हैं आप आज? And usually that's not the way we speak in our language, right? It's the other way around. We translate it in reverse, which is like, आज आप कैसे हैं? So always remember that when you're delivering or when you're interpreting the dialogues, it's first of all, it's in the reverse, and focus on delivering the meaning. If you can deliver the meaning, your vocabulary will fall in the right place. You will be able to speak very, confidently and promptly. Tip number 2, how to master your vocabulary. Now, when it comes to vocabulary, there's a lot of different topics like, let's say, social, business, immigration, education, etc. Now, don't memorize the vocabulary as if you're memorizing it like a dictionary, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, not in a serial order of the words. The way I teach my students about the vocabulary is you memorize the vocabulary based on situations, right? So for example, let's say you're doing a dialogue on legal and the dialogue is about a divorce between a husband and a wife. So when you talk about divorce, what are the words that can come to your mind? Like when you say divorce, husband, wife, children, spouse, maintenance, proof, affidavit, separation, residency. So these are the different words that would straight away pop into your mind and you're like, okay, these are the most likely words that would be there and I should be able to convert it. So when you go with vocabulary, it really helps you to, understand, gear up and, interpret the dialogue with full concentration. Tip number 3, let's talk about notes. Note taking is the most essential element of getting the information while you're interpreting your dialogues, alright? However, that doesn't mean that you need to copy every single word that the speaker is saying. The way we teach it in classes, it is 90% listening and just 10% notes. That is very important. You should listen more and there should be less of note taking. You should only take the key points of the sentences. The other thing with notes is always divide your pages into 2 halves. The left side should be language other than English. That's what I personally go for. You could make it either of the sides and the other side should be in English. Okay, so that you know exactly, okay, if this is in Hindi, I put it here. If this is in English, I put it here. The other thing is the notes should be done on either side in English only because we can write English really fast. Okay, so make sure that when you're taking your notes, it's written in English only on both the sides. Okay, helps you to interpret faster, helps you to go a little bit faster. Now, with your notes, try to use abbreviations, try to use symbols. These are the 2 fundamental elements of your note taking. So for example, if I was remembering, there's a dialogue which says that a client has come to for a meeting with Department of Immigrations and Border Protection. I don't have the time to write that. I can write DIPP or Department of Home Affairs, DOHA, right? Try to break it down into abbreviations like this: Migration Review Tribunal, MRT. Administrative Appeal Tribunal, AAT. Okay, so always try to shorten them up, create the acronyms that you remember, create the acronyms that you are comfortable with. That's how you can do really accurate note taking. One more thing with your notes, let's say there's a sentence which says that, it's a big sentence, let's say, good morning Mr. X, I'm here to talk about a disability support pension that I was supposed to receive from Centrelink. However, I would also like to know about the various benefits and allowances that I can get from Centrelink. Okay, that's a pretty big sentence. What is the key? There are 3 sentences actually. So the first sentence is greeting. Good morning, GM. What is this person here for? He's here for disability support pension. So TSP, right? So that's the acronym that I'm using. What is the third thing he wants to know? Wants to know about benefits and he wants to know about allowances. So just write benefits and allowances. Now you need to recreate, okay, based on your listening. So that's how you should be doing your note taking. It should be 90% listening, 10% notes. Tip number 4, do not start speaking immediately after the chime. Once the chime rings, you've got about 3 to 5 seconds to interpret. Please reconstruct the sentence and focus on the meaning of the sentence. Focus on delivering the accurate meaning rather than focusing on word-to-word vocabulary, as I've said before as well. If you focus on word-to-word vocabulary, you will start fumbling. There will be a lot of grammatical mistakes, right? So take your time, think about it, and start speaking after 3 or 5 seconds. Tip number 5 is about repeats and corrections. Definitely use a repeat in a particular dialogue if there is too much information out there. For example, if there is a dialogue which talks about, "Good morning, my name is Karen. I'm here to talk about the Disability Support Pension. My address is Suite 301, 89 Scarborough Street, Queensland, Southport 4215. My phone number is 0499 5000057. My email is karen@alchemistacademy.com.au. Can you please help me?" So there's a lot of information over there because she's talking about her address, she's given a phone number, she's given an email. In a situation like that, even if you miss one digit of her phone number or if you misinterpret her email, that will be considered as a significant omission. So please make sure that you take a repeat and you just get the correct information. Just be like double sure that every single thing, digits, email, address, phone number, postcode, everything else is correct. Number 2, it's about corrections. Now, if you make a mistake, genuinely, you can say like correcting myself, or you can just say the word correction and you can recorrect your particular segment that you felt was wrong. However, if you try to misuse it, let's say I've forgotten the vocabulary of something. I've forgotten the vocabulary of, let's say, surgeon. And I'm like, I'm here to talk to the surgeon. So that's the dialogue. मैं यहाँ पे correction, मैं यहाँ पे if you have not corrected anything, if you haven't made any mistakes, there is negative penalties for that. So please make sure that you use the correction feature wisely. Only use it if you genuinely want to make some changes, not because you forgot some vocabulary. It carries some negative marks. Right? So I hope that these tips are very helpful. And my one final advice is make sure that you practice a few dialogues before the exam to get the confidence and the flow before you start answering. In fact, do it on a few hours before your test. All right. Now, make sure, revise these tips once again, go for the test, smash it and do really well, secure your 5 PR points, and good luck.